Well, thank you, Grandworthy Advisor, and it's genuinely a pleasure to be here. This energy that was in the room when I came in with the music was hard to beat. Can we feel a little more of that? Do you feel the energy tonight? Is this a time to have some fun? Are we glad to be here with each other? You know, it's a definite pleasure for us to come from time to time to visit with the various bodies, and especially the International Order of Rainbow for Girls. One of the most important parts of our Masonic family is our youth orders, and it has been since the organization of the very first attempt to teach young men and young women values that the Masons you see here today embrace so dearly. It's a gift, really. It's a gift to all of us, the gift of an opportunity to become better. This year we celebrate in our family 300 years of Freemasonry. How about that? Now, if you take a look at your history books, you'll find out that there aren't a whole lot of institutions, bodies, or groups of people that last for 300 years. Maybe a church, perhaps a university, college. But Freemasonry is a family of the oldest fraternity. Some will say the oldest people, but that's not true. Because you know the average age of the person joining Freemasonry today is 36 years old. But today, as you begin to come to grips with the conclusion of your Grand Assembly, I wanted to share with you some things that I think you'll feel good about. You know, 300 years ago when we started Freemasonry, there really was no United States. Years later, this country was born in the hands and under the work of Freemasons such as George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, Patrick Henry, Paul Revere. I could go on and on and on. And they gave us something very, very special at that time that we have held dear as a family, as a nation, certainly as a Masonic family, and certainly I know it is part and ingrained in the values of the International Order of Rainbow for Girls, and that is the Bill of Rights. Those things that set us free, that mark us to be different people from anybody else in the world, and tell us the importance of extending helping hands one to another, dignity and respect, speaking well of each other and refusing to speak ill, ever being willing to come together and achieve consensus and never allowing argument to create disharmony. Those were embraced as Masonic values in those original Bill of Rights. As we progress further, a second Bill of Rights was attached to the world, but it took a conflagration of grave proportions when the battles throughout Europe erupted into enslavement and death and horror and destruction that was soon quelled by the faithful efforts of the men and women in the armed forces of the United States of America and elsewhere around the world. And in the aftermath, other Masonic values were incorporated in what we call the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Again, speaking to the importance that a world should embrace a foundation built upon respect, anti-discrimination, love, honor, integrity, duty. These were gifts by the Freemasons of the past to the world of today, and to each and every one of us and they're part of our family. They're part of our history. This is our ancestry. These are the pictures we have in our scrapbooks. These images of what we built and the foundations we've laid one for another. Yet the greatest gift that can be given, and I speak to you directly now, each and every one of you, wonderful girls in Rainbow, the greatest gift that you can give is yourself. For you are important. You are the most important person in the world. Your mothers and fathers thought so to bring you to this wonderful family, to be embraced by wonderful friends and wonderful adults, to make yourself even more special than you were when you arrived here. And all of Masonry has given gifts throughout the 300 years. It is now your chance to do the very same thing. You yourself, to live a life of dedicated civility, to the values of respect and dignity, to loving one another regardless of your differences and embracing each other's differences, because those are what make you strong. And I encourage you every step of the way to grab hold of the young lady next to you, embrace her and tell her how important she is to you. When you go home tonight, you look your mother and father in the face and you say, I love you, Mom and Dad. I couldn't be happier than to be a part of this family because you have helped me become the person I am. And you will always be there as I become the person I want to be. And we will be there to help you. Freemasonry will always be there to support you. You know, when I became involved with the Grand Line, I knew very little about our youth orders. I've been around in Masonry for a long period of time, but I myself never had the opportunity or took the opportunity to become involved in the Masonic youth orders. And yet I learned from those Grand Masters that preceded me. Men such as John Cooper, Rush Charbonnier, and yes, our good and dear friend, David Perry, whose own Courtney Perry walked these floors year after year after year, spreading warmth and love. And I learned as I watched the importance all of this is to you. And what's important to you is important to me. And will always be important to me. And it's now my turn to give you a gift this evening. But Dana, I'm going to need your help. As you know, the Grand Lodge of California is dedicated to supporting the great success of the wonderful work that you do for all of these young women. Just look at them out here, right? Aren't they beautiful? Let's give them a round. And we know that takes money. So it is my pleasure indeed to give you this check in the amount of $5,000 for thank you. Did you like your gift? Good night. God bless.
Dedication is greatly admired and appreciated by our Rainbow Girls. I wish you the best of luck and success with the remainder of your travels and can't wait to see how you will continue to celebrate 300 years of masonry this year. The Sensational Sunrays would be delighted to sing Surfin' in the USA to thank you, Most Worshipful Heisner, for the dedication you have put in thus far in supporting our youth orders.